In this lecture, we are going to see the circulation in animals. Okay, the circulation in case of animals is generally occurs by blood and lymph. Okay, in animals there is a circulation of blood and lymph takes place. Okay, in the higher animals from Annelida to the Chordata, they are having blood as a circulating fluid. Okay, that means from Annelida up to the Chordata, whatever the phylums are there, all the animals are having blood as a circulating fluid. Okay, that blood, it is pumped to the tissues by heart through the blood vessels. That means from the heart the blood is pumped and it goes to the blood vessels, and from the blood vessels it goes to the each and every tissues or the organs. There are mainly a blood vascular system is there. Okay, there are two types of blood vascular system: open circulation and closed circulation. There are two types of circulation: open circulation and closed circulation. First we will see the open circulation. Okay, in open circulation, blood is circulated through a body cavity. Okay, we have seen in the 11th standard animal type study cockroach. In that, open type of circulatory system is there. That means the fluid, it is circulating through a cavity of a body. There is a cavity inside the body, and through that cavity the blood is circulated. That is called as hemocoel. The cavity is called as hemocoel. The blood is circulated through the hemocoel or the body cavity in the open circulation. Whatever the visceral organs are there, okay, inside their body, they are lie in the blood, because there is a one cavity is there inside, and all the visceral organs are lie filled into the bloods. Okay, that means there is a exchange of gases takes place directly between the blood and the cells or tissue of the organ. Okay, visceral organs are dipped or filled into the blood, so that organ and blood is in direct contact. So exchange of material, it is takes place directly between blood and the cells or the tissue. Okay, the pressure of blood, it is low in the open circulation, because there is a open cavity is there. Okay, cavity is there, so flow of blood, it is slow. In the blood of that open circulation, the respiratory pigment is absent, so that the transportation of respiratory gases is absent in the open circulation. Okay, this is about the open circulation. Examples of that are nothing but the arthropods. In that, cockroach is the example, and some of the primary molluscans. Okay, these are the examples of open type of circulation. Now coming to the closed type of circulation. Okay, now it is different than that of the open type of circulation. What is the closed circulation? The blood is circulated all over the body through a blood vessels. Okay, now instead of body cavity, here in these animals there is a presence of blood vessels, and through that blood vessels blood is transported, circulated all over the body. Okay, now which animals are included under the closed circulation? All the vertebrates are included under the closed circulation. Then higher molluscans and annelids are included under the closed type of circulation. Now in this circulation, the exchange of material between the blood and the tissue is indirect. Now in the open circulation it is direct, okay, but in the closed circulation it is indirect. The exchange of material between blood and tissue takes place through the lymph. That means from the blood the material is transported to lymph, and from the lymph it is transported to the tissue. So it is the difference between the open circulation and closed circulation. Another difference is the blood flows with high pressure in closed circulation. Because of there are small capillaries, small blood vessels are there, that's why there is a high pressure. Blood flows with high pressure. In case of open circulation, it is in the low pressure. And in the closed circulation, the respiratory pigment is present, that is nothing but the hemoglobin. So transportation of gases is there in the closed circulation. Okay, there are mainly two types of the closed circulation. Okay, closed circulation is of two types. In that, two circulations are there. One is the single circulation and second one is the double circulation. We will see both. First we will see single circulation. You can see one diagram on your screen. It is the diagram inside the fish. Okay, example single circulation. In this diagram you can see at the center there is a heart. In that one ventricle is there, one atrium is there. At the upper side to that there is a gill capillaries on which there is a presence of gills. At the another side there is a systemic capillaries are there. Okay, so there is a presence of body organs. This is a setup of a single circulation. Now what is single circulation? Blood in the single circulation, blood passes through heart only once in each cycle. That means in each cycle blood passes through heart only once. That's why it is called as single circulation. Okay, you can see in the diagram the deoxygenated blood pumped from the heart to gills for the oxygenation. Okay, in this diagram you can see deoxygenated blood is present in the heart. So from the heart the arteries goes to the gill capillaries. By that route deoxygenated blood is pumped from heart to gills for the oxygenation. Now in the gills the oxygen it is imported from outside, and here the deoxygenated blood becomes oxygenated. Now this oxygenated blood moves towards the various body parts. You can see the red color of the capillaries. It is having oxygenated blood, and that capillaries are goes to the each and every body parts. Okay, then these goes to the various body parts and gets deoxygenated. In the body parts the oxygenated blood becomes deoxygenated. Now the deoxygenated blood it comes to the systemic capillaries. You can see at the systemic circulation systemic capillaries is there, and that deoxygenated blood again goes to the heart by the veins. So this is called as the systemic circulation. Now here in the single circulation gill circulation is there and systemic circulation is there. So the deoxygenated blood returns to the hearts for the next cycle, and then next cycle is forwarded. So the heart carries only deoxygenated blood. Remember student that here in the single circulation oxygenated blood not carried into the heart. Deoxygenated blood is carried into the heart. So this is called as single circulation, and the heart is the blood is called as venous blood. Okay, this is called as the heart in the single circulation is called as venous heart. Venous heart. Okay, example is in the fish. Fish is having venous heart. Now coming to the double circulation. Okay, double circulation, we know that human beings are having double circulation. You can see one diagram on your screen. Okay, it is a diagrammatic representation of double circulation in human beings. You can see at the center there are 4 chambers of heart, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. That is the four chambers of heart of human beings or mammals. Okay, you can see in the diagram there are two circulations, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Okay, double circulation means what? Blood passes through the heart twice in each cycle. That means in each cycle blood comes to the heart two times. That's why called as double circulation. This type of double circulation it is occurs in the birds and the mammals. Okay, generally it in mammals, in human beings also double circulation occurs. Now how this double circulation occurs we will see. First we will see in the diagram pulmonary circulation. You can see pulmonary circulation labeled here. Now heart pump deoxygenated blood to the lungs. You can see right atrium, right ventricle carries deoxygenated blood and it enters to the pulmonary artery and it goes to the lungs. Okay, then in lungs it is converted into oxygenated blood. Okay, then from the lungs oxygenated blood goes to the pulmonary veins. Okay, then the oxygenated blood it returns to the heart. Okay, through the pulmonary veins it goes to the left atrium. That means deoxygenated blood from heart comes to the lungs, it becomes oxygenated and then it again enters into the heart. That is called as pulmonary circulation. Then second one is nothing but the systemic circulation. What is systemic circulation? You can see when oxygenated blood comes to the heart into left atrium, then it goes to the left ventricle. Okay, oxygenated blood pumped from heart towards the body part. That means from the left ventricle it goes to the dorsal aorta and from the dorsal aorta it goes to the body organs. Okay, except the lungs. Okay, the oxygenated blood cannot goes to the lungs. They are having separate type of connection for the oxygenated blood. Okay, and in the body the oxygenated blood is going to consumed and the blood becomes deoxygenated, and that deoxygenated blood returns back to the heart by the superior and inferior vena cava to the right atrium. Again the deoxygenated blood comes to the heart, again it goes to the lungs and next cycle is continuous. So double circulation in that pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation at a time, and in that two times blood comes into the heart. That's why it is called as double circulation. In all birds and in mammals the double circulation occurs. An example is the human heart is having double circulation. Now this is about the blood vascular system. Okay, in that open and closed type of circulation, in closed type of circulation there is single and double circulation. Now coming to the circulatory system in the human beings. Okay, human circulatory system is composed of blood vascular system and lymphatic system. Okay, these two types of systems are included under the circulatory system of human being. We will see both. First we will see the blood vascular system. Okay, we know that it is composed of blood vascular system is composed of blood, heart and blood vessels. Okay, we are going to see three of them separately: blood separately, heart separately and blood vessels separately. Okay, the blood vascular system is function for the transportation, protection and homeostatics. Transportation of what? Transportation of respiratory gases, food and all other materials, and protection of the body and the organs from the foreign material, okay, from the various pathogenic conditions. And homeostatic means to maintain the balance of ions and salts in the body. That function is performed by blood vascular system and it is composed of blood, heart and blood vessels. First, we will see the blood composition. Now, we are going to see in detail the blood composition. First, the study of blood is called as hematology. Now, remember student that it will be asked in your exams. The study of blood is called as hematology. We all know that we generally see the blood reports. Okay, in that all the information about the blood and their components are given there. Their normal ranges are given. You can see the blood reports in any of your family members. In that all the blood components are given and their normal ranges are given. So average in the human adults, generally 4 to 6 liters of blood is there in their body. Okay, generally there is 4 to 6 liter blood is in the body. The blood, it is derived from the embryonic mesoderm. Okay, we are having 3 germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So blood, it is originated from the embryonic mesoderm. Okay, blood is a red colored fluid connective tissue. In the 11th standard, we have seen the tissue in that connective tissue, and connective tissue in that fluid connective tissue. We have that time seen that, and already you have seen that fluid connective tissue, blood is the fluid connective tissue. Okay, the blood is slightly alkaline. The pH of blood is 7.4. It also may be asked. Okay, the pH of blood is 7.4, slightly alkaline. Salty and viscous fluid. Okay, it is a salty and viscous fluid. The blood is having main 2 components are there. Okay, they are having main 2 components: fluid plasma and formed elements. That means fluid plasma and blood cells. These are the 2 major components of the blood. In the total blood, 55% is a plasma, that is fluid plasma, and 44 to 45% is formed element, that is blood cells. So this is the division of 2 components of blood. And the plasma and formed elements can be separated by centrifugation. Centrifugation is a technique for the separation of the elements. Okay, so by centrifugation we can isolate fluid plasma and formed elements. So these are the 2 major components of the blood. The plasma, it is composed of, now in that first we will see the plasma. Okay, 55% total quantity of blood, of that 55% is made up of plasma. The plasma is straw colored. Okay, and it is slightly alkaline. Okay, remember that 55% of the total blood, it is occupied by the plasma. It is straw colored, it is slightly alkaline. Okay, and plasma is made up of, you can see a chart of composition of plasma. It is very clear that 90% of the total plasma is made up of water. Now if plasma is 100%, out of that 90% is of water. Okay, from remaining 7 to 8% are the proteins. Now proteins are different types of proteins are there in the plasma. Okay, like that of the albumin, globulin, prothrombin, fibrinogen. Okay, like that all the proteins are included into the plasma. These are nothing but 7 to 8% of the total volume of the plasma. Then 1% salts are there. Salts, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, all that salts are of 1% in the blood. And remaining 1 to 2% is of others. Others in that it is included waste products, okay, just like that of the urea, uric acid, okay, in different enzymes it may be urea or uric acid. Then some hormones, enzymes, vitamins are there, okay. Then food like that of the amino acids, fatty acids, glucose is there, okay. Apart from that, some of the anticoagulant like that of the heparin. Heparin, we know that heparin is an anticoagulating. In our blood, there is a presence of heparin so that our blood is not clotted in our body. But when it in contact with the air, it is coagulated. So heparin, it is present into the blood. Then cholesterol and antibodies, and most important is the dissolved gases such as O2, CO2 and nitrogen. Okay, so this is the composition of plasma. It is having 55%, plasma is having total weight or total volume of 55% from the blood. In that 55%, again 90% is of water, 7 to 8% is the proteins, 1% salt, and 1 to 2% other components just like that of the dissolved gases, cholesterol, anticoagulants, okay, then food, waste material, and some of the hormones and enzymes are there. So this is about the plasma composition, okay. The next is nothing but the formed elements. These are nothing but the blood cells. These formed elements we are going to see in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.